Hi guys, welcome you for this session on creation of files in Java programming. Before getting into creation of file, it is necessary to know the use of the file, which is used for reading and writing operation. Since we get input by the help of keyboard and display the data on the screen, where these activities deals with the temporary data. When the program comes to an end, the data will be disappear or it will be gone away. So in order to make a permanent data, the concept of file has been used. Even when a program ends, the data will be remain in the file, and the file and it can be used in next time when the program runs, and it can also used by another programmer. Generally, there are two different types of files, text such as text files and binary files. All the data stored as binary digits, that is the series of zeros and ones. The file is treated as sequence of characters or called as text file. For example, Java program or Java source code is one of the example. It can be viewed, edit with text editor, whereas the binary files or the files which includes movie files, music files, Java class files, access required a specialized program. File handling in Java using file reader and writer. By using the class file reader and writer, you can read the data and write the data from the file. These are called as character stream classes. But it is not recommended to use file input stream and file output stream classes if you want to read or write any textual information, as they are the byte stream classes. The file writer is useful to write a character into a file. This class can be inherited from output stream classes. The constructor of this class assumes that the default characters, encoding and default byte buffer are acceptable. To specify these values, construct an output stream writer on a file output stream. The file writer is meant for writing stream of characters. For writing a stream of raw bytes by using a file output stream, the file writer creates the output file. These are the methods which will help you to write a character or a content into a file. If you want to write a single character into a file, the first method is used. Public void write in C. So single character is being read, and if there is any IO exception, that is when you're reading an input, if it has any problem has been founded, the IO exception will throw out such kind of errors. The next function is about write a character of arrays by using a function called as public void write array, and we'll pass a character array as a argument. And the next function is about write a string of characters. That is with this function which will help you to write a string of characters into a file. And if you want to, and another useful function is write function, which will help you to write a string from the position you have specified, that is the starting character and the number of character to be write onto the file. And another important function is flushing out the stream. This function is used to clear the file content or to flush the stream of data. And the last but not the least function is the close function. This function is used to close the stream. Before closing it flushed the stream first. This program will demonstrate the how the file has been created by using a file writer. For this, we have to use a package called as import java io.filewriter, which will help you to write the content into a file. And if there is any error in reading a file, the IO exception has been thrown. So the IO input output exception is imported by using a package is imported, which will help you to write the content into a file. And if there is any error in reading a file, the IO exception has been thrown. So the IO input output exception is imported by using a package is imported to the program, and we'll create a class called as create file. First the class creates a variable as str. So that str is a string data type. It can hold a string value. Then now you're creating an object for that file writer. That is what we have done in attaching a file to a writer. That is, WF is the object for accessing the file writer, and you have created a file called as output.txt. Now the next thing is reading a character from a string and writing into a file writer. So for that I have made use of a for loop statement. For int I equal to 0, I less than str.length, and till the end of the file the character has to be read, and it will be write accordingly by the help of the object. Finally, the program ends by displaying a message that writing has been successfully, and finally the file has to be closed accordingly. The next thing is the content has to be read from the file. So for that we'll make use of file reader class. This is being inherited from input stream reader class. The constructor of this class assumes that default characters encoding the default buffer size are appropriate. To specify this value, you have to construct input stream reader on a file input stream. File reader is meant for reading a stream of characters. For reading stream of raw bits, you have to make use of file input stream. By using constructor also, you can create these are the various methods used for creating reading data from the file reader file. This creates a file reader given the file to read from. The file reader with description creates a new file reader with a description, that is the content to be read from the file. Then the file reader with the argument of string as with an argument as a file as an input. So now we are going to read the name of the file which is to be read from. These are the methods which are used for reading functions, which will help you to read from the file. Public int read function, int read character. This will help you to read a character into an array. This method will block until some input is available, and an input error occurs or end of the stream is reached. Public abstract int read with the character array of buffer, and we have three parameters, that is buffer and offset and length. So this will read the character into the position of an array. This till a character is available, and if there is any error has been occurred or it has been reached, the end of the stream has been reached, the IO exception will throw out an error. Public int read character. This will help you to read a character into an array. This method will block until some input is available, and an input error occurs or end of the stream is reached. Public abstract int read with the character array of buffer, and we have three parameters, that is buffer and offset and length. So this will read the character into the position of an array. This method will block until some input is available. An IO error occurs or the end of the stream is reached. And the next function is closing the reader. This will help you to close the file reader. And the next one is public long skip. This will skip the character. This method will block until some characters are available on input output error occurs or the end of the file stream is reached, where the parameter end refers to the number of the character to be skipped. So this sample program will explain how to read a file using file reader. So for that, I have import three different types of classes, that is to check whether the file is whether the file is found or not. Before opening a file for reading purpose, we have to make sure that the file has been created or not, and by using file reader, we'll read the particular file, and if there is any confusions in reading or writing operation, the IO exception has to be thrown out. So for that, I have used these three things. By using a class reader file, I have declared a variable called as ch. So this will check whether the file exists or not. If there is a file, text file, it will be opened and the file will be read. Otherwise, the IO exception will throws that the file has not been found, and the character will be read. By using a while statement, I have read the character till the end of the file, and similarly the file has to be read till the end of the file, and correspondingly the output will be displayed on the by using a variable called as ch. And last but not the least, we are closing the file by using the object of fr. Thank you all.